What's going on, guys? Junior here from Custom Offsets, and I'm here with
Josh from Trailbuilt.
And we're gonna go over our top picks for the best body style of every generation, of every decade, from 1970 to 2020 today.
All right.
Which, Josh was born in the 70s, so this might be pretty good for you.
Yeah, well, not quite, but close.
I know you've got your list and I've got mine, and
yeah.
It's a competition. We're gonna see who wins. Let's get into it. And of course, wheels, tires, suspension. If you guys are looking to modify your vehicle, CustomOffsets.com.
What is the best truck of the 1970s?
All right, so 70s.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is gonna be a pretty easy choice for me, and
let me guess.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be an International Scout by any means.
You were way off.
Ah, I knew it.
Yeah, definitely International Scout. Mostly because I have a 73 International Scout, so only naturally I had to go with that one.
And then I picked the Gen 1 Bronco. So basically the same thing, more or less. I mean,
well, I mean, the
Bronco came out a little earlier.
Good as the Scouts.
There it
I
is.
mean, the only reason the Broncos came out is because the Scouts were already out,
Okay,
and
that's
Ford
not
needed the way to
completely
compete
wrong.
with the Internationals. So.
But yeah, the Bronco obviously it came out in the 60s. So the first generation kind of overlapped into the 70s, but I feel like it counted enough. But it was one of the first all-purpose vehicles, which I think kind of was like a big step towards that. Like, you had your pickup trucks and you had your cars, and they kind of started making the first like crossover SUVs with like the Scout and the Bronco.
Right.
The same idea went to both of them.
Yeah.
And just kind of an iconic thing, and especially looking back now, you see people restoring, like, there's the, I forget what the company's name is, but they restore like first gen Broncos, and they'll put like whole new interiors in them. Like, there's one that's like Tiffany blue and it's all over the internet, but like, they're like $100 grand. But it's a completely one-off, like redone, complete chassis, and they just have that spot as like the 69 Camaro muscle car, like that iconic thing.
Isn't it Icon? Isn't it Icon
Suspension?
4x4 that rebuilds the Broncos?
I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. But
Icon is a company that does the high-end rebuilds of the
and it could be
nostalgic retro trucks. And do you know what year the first Bronco came out?
66?
Yeah, nailed it. I'm impressed.
Is that the year you were born?
No, I was born just before the first Bronco came out.
Oh, you were the first Bronco.
Best truck of the 1980s?
All right, 80s. What did you go with?
Well, of course, there's a few good
Is
trucks.
there like a Scout
good.
2, like the Bronco 2? Is that?
Well, the last International Scout was built in 1980, and they had a diesel version in the 1980s. So, but no, it's not that one. And I think runner-up probably would have been like the K5 Blazer.
Yep, I went to like the third generation, like K series, like Silverado.
K10 and K5.
Exactly, but like K5 Blazer fits in there, Silverado, Blazer, whatever. I like all of them, but just
I had to
body
pick.
style. What was your number one then?
I had to pick the Jeep J10 and the J20.
What's it? I don't know J10s and
Yeah,
J20s.
it's basically you know the new Gladiators.
Yep.
So, yeah. So Jeep originally had a Gladiator back in the 70s, and then they discontinued the name, and then they went to the J series and had like the J10, which is sort of like a quarter-ton, half-ton pickup truck, regular cab pickup truck, and then they had the J20, which had
Sorry, I can't search by topic, but I can search by title, actors or directors.
Oh, that's my watch.
Are you sure you would like to send a nuclear blast?
No.
But yeah, so the J20 is the more heavy-duty Jeep pickup truck, and that one came with it had the ability to put in a 401 cubic inch AMC engine, which is like a 6.6 liter. So I thought the J20 with the 401 cubic inch AMC.
And that's a gas engine?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. And you guys remember the first movie, The Tremors? Remember when they had that? It was either a J10 or a J20 in there.
I've seen Tremors. It was a while ago.
It's like one of the coolest trucks. Like one of the Tremors grabs the back axle and like almost rips the axle up, but they ended up tearing the beast. And
I'm hoping there's like B-roll footage of this from the movie happening right now, because I really need it to be there for visual reasons.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, this stalled out your truck? Have to be one strong son of a...
Best truck of the 1990s?
Do they have to be pickup trucks?
Is it like an SUV?
It is. Yep.
What is it?
Well, so.
Nope, doesn't count.
So one of the SUVs is a Jeep vehicle that has won probably the most like off-roading awards.
Is it the XJ?
Yeah, well, I picked the ZJ.
Oh, it's
the Grand Cherokee came out in 1994.
Oh.
It was like one of the most sought after 4x4s in an SUV style, just because it had solid axles, it still had the luxury comfort to it, and was still off-road capable. So I picked the ZJ, and then the XJ would be the Cherokee, just the little smaller version.
Sure. Okay. Same thing though.
Yeah.
I know this one. I know what you're talking about, so I can get behind that. I went with the OBS Ford.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Which
That's a great pick.
They're solid. Obviously, I've got an OBS Bronco, so like for me, like I'm a little partial to that body style. But you see a lot of them, especially like in the show scene and stuff. People are doing a lot of like cleaning them up and stuff like that, and they're bringing them to shows now, which is super cool to see in the last couple of years. They've really like came out in like full force as much as the new trucks are there. You're seeing more of the OBS Fords too, and like the OBS Chevys just don't really do it for me. The OBS Dodges, like the Fords just have something about them, the way they look, that it's not as common as like your winter beater truck that you have that you throw a plow on.
Right.
It's more, and maybe it's just because I've seen more clean ones, but I don't know, there's something about it. And,
yeah, I definitely love the 90s Fords too. I mean, the 78, 79 era with the Highboy was like one of the coolest Fords that.
Why didn't you have that on your list?
Oh, because I had the Scout.
Oh,
I had to pick the Scout.
You can't not scout it out.
But yeah, so I definitely agree with that too. For trucks, the OBS Fords. In fact, I had one with a Power Stroke in it, and I think it was a 97, but that was like the 7.3 liter turbo Power Stroke was, and probably still is one of the best diesels
Right, you see people still wanting to have them, wanting to swap them into things, like it's just, things were built better back then.
So speaking of the 7.3 Power Stroke, that engine is in my next era of trucks, which is the 2000s.
Is it a Ford?
It's a Ford.
Is it just a Ford Power Stroke with a 7.3?
Well, it's a particular truck. I'm going to call it a truck.
Is it the Excursion with the 7.3?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's my pick for the 2000s, is definitely the Ford Excursion. I had one with the V10, which I love the V10. I mean, I thought it was a great engine. The fuel economy was horrible, but I think they put garden hoses in for the fuel lines in the V10s because they needed that much fuel. I'm just making that up, but it was like 10 gallons to the 10 gallons to the mile, and I said that right.
Oh my God.
No, it was like I was getting between 9 and 10 miles to the gallon with this thing, whether I was pulling or not.
Wow.
But the Excursion is just a beast, and there's plenty of room.
It's a limo.
It is. It really is. There's plenty of room in it. You can take it and you can do overlanding with it. You can use it to haul your car trailer and your other projects, and I mean the thing is just a beast. So I had to go with the Ford Excursion.
And on top of that, if you feel like it, you can swap like the newer like 2014 Super Duty front ends onto them, because it's literally all the same chassis. And I've seen some people do that, and that looks really cool. There's a Project Luck, I think is what it's called, but he's one of our buddies from Myrtle Beach, who he's got an Excursion that he built for SEMA.
Oh, nice.
And it's on like 14 inches of lift, 30-inch American forces. Like the thing's just nuts, but it's got that front end lift on it then to go to like the 14, 15, 16 body style.
That front face makeover. And
Yep.
it's funny you bring that up, because that's like one of my dream trucks I always thought about building for like my tow rig is, put like the new Super Duty front ends on an older Excursion with the 7.3 Power Stroke. Oh,
that'd be cool. And then
perfect.
interior too. You can, if you find like a newer, nicer interior, you want to go King Ranch or whatever, it's all like the same thing. It's just newer versus older. So you can like, that's what's kind of cool about Ford. For so long, they had the same body style where you can kind of pick whatever you want and build it how you please.
Right, exactly.
For the 2000s, I went with the 3rd gen Dodge.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Which a lot of people don't really like them, but I specifically want to do the 06, 07, 08, like the front end lift, because before that they had a weird like bumpy bottom of the headlights, and then they kind of cleaned it up in 06, 07, 08, at least in the 1500s. But the reason I picked that one was because they had the 1st gen for so long, which it looked good, don't get me wrong. The 1st gen Cummins looks great. And then they had the 2nd gen, and I'm not really a fan of the 2nd gen. It's very bubbly, and it's got weird like sloth looking headlights and stuff like that. Like it just didn't do it for me. So when they finally went to the 3rd gen, it was like, let's go, we're getting a more modernized like vehicle. And then when they bumped it up to the facelift of the 3rd gens, it kind of started looking like what the 4th gens look like. So it more modernized it. It got it to look finally up to par with Chevy, with Ford, kind of with the big three. They're finally back in the game type of thing.
Best truck of the 20 teens.
How, you were born in 2010, right?
No, a little bit before that, a year or two. I went with the Raptor.
This goes both ways.
Yeah,
by the way.
right? I went with the Raptor. That's what I went with.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. The Ford Raptor. Yeah, can't go wrong with those. What did I go with? Oh, okay. So I had a couple different options, and actually the Raptor was one of them that crossed my mind. But the I almost called it the Ford Tacoma, the Toyota Tacoma Pro. So I had the upgraded Fox piggyback shocks on it, tons of underneath armor, locker in the rear, and built for basically, you know, almost like a turnkey off-roader. And then,
Now, are those is that with the facelift with like the skinny headlights, or is that still had the big blocky headlights?
No, it had the, I don't remember exactly what year the Pros were released in. I think it was like 2018.
Okay.
I want to say, maybe.
Yeah, so at that point they
2018,
would have had
2019.
the newer body style headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, newer body style headlights, and then runner-up was the Jeep Gladiator Rubicon.
Yep.
That was my second option there.
Did it come out in the 2010s?
Yeah, the
Was it
Gladiator.
19?
The Gladiator was reintroduced for the 2020. Oh no, never mind.
Oh.
I am pretty surprised that you picked out a off-road vehicle though. I mean, that's pretty cool,
I just,
right?
yeah, right, surprise. But I just remember when they first came out, I was in high school.
Are you okay back there?
I just remember when they first came out, right? And I was in high school, and one of my buddies' dads had bought the new Raptor, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. Like which we're talking about like the best generation or trucks per decade. I probably had one of the worst. I had the 10th gen F-150, the 9703. But I like made that thing look like a Raptor. So like the big Ford and the grill and like all of that stuff was just super cool. And so like you saw other people, you saw the knockoff grills that people are coming out with that said like it looked like a Raptor grill for F-150s and stuff like that.
3 lights in the
Yes,
grill.
like Kirk had that. He had the 3 lights in his grill. I had like a Raptor logo made. So like just the stuff that came out of that and how cool Ford made off-roading and brought it into everything in the
props
style
to
of
Ford
it.
for being really innovative like that and taking that step out there and, you know, doing something a little bit different, even though they didn't know exactly how sales were gonna, you know, come out, but it really did set the trend for manufacturers, auto manufacturers, reintroducing that off-road segment.
Just the enthusiast market in general, like realizing that there's more than just people getting pickups to go pick up lumber and go home type of thing. So I
all
think
of a sudden
it was
it
pretty
went from
iconic.
practicality to
Let's have fun with it,
functionality and fun and
Exactly.
And now look at it. I mean, you got, the new Ford Broncos.
Well, let's go into 2020 quick then.
Okay.
So 2020, I initially had the new Aluma Duty Super Duties.
Oh, sure.
You go to see them and you see them everywhere. They're really nice. Interiors are awesome. Engines are solid. They're aluminum, so they're lighter weight, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Solid trucks. But then I realized that 2020 was when the Bronco was introduced.
Yeah.
And so I had to change my answer and scribble that one out and put Ford Bronco.
Which, I mean, you do drive a couple different Broncos or?
Just one now.
One
but
now? Okay.
I
Yeah.
had a couple different ones at one point.
Yeah, so, I mean, Ford did a really nice job with their new Bronco. I mean, I wish they would have stuck with the solid front axle, but I think for appealing to the masses, they went with independent, but they still made it front and rear, rear and front locker with the new Bronco and I think the Wild Track series or whatever it may be, but then they went with hydraulic disconnect for the sway bar, so if you're in the rocks and you're jammed up, you can disconnect your sway bar by hitting a button, and they made it modular. I mean, you can take the top off, take the doors off,
there's
put
so
the
many
doors
pieces,
in it.
yeah.
So they did a really nice job. I mean, Ford's really innovative when it comes to, you know, really figuring out what works, what doesn't,
Well, and
what's
it's
cool
hard.
and what's not.
Yeah, it's hard too, because like when you come up with a new body style, everyone's so used to what you've had that they get kind of like, oh, what is this? This looks like this, or this looks like that. So it gets very like, the new Tundra comes out and it looks like a Dodge, or the new Tundra comes out and it looks like a Ford, or like you hear that all the time that, oh, it just looks like these two trucks put together. But the Bronco, they basically went back to the first generation Bronco, tying this whole thing back to the 70s.
Yep.
They basically went back to that style and that idea and that look,
Yeah.
but modern, which I don't think anyone's had any complaints with.
No,
like,
I don't, yeah.
people love the way it looks. They love the options it has. The Ford was very smart with the way they brought it back, and they did, in my opinion, honor to the name Bronco, and they didn't
Right.
throw it in the mud. See what I
And
did
props
there?
to them for that, because look at Chevy Blazer.
Yep.
When they reintroduced that, it was like, oh, you know, well, let's go back to the retro style and make it look cool. And that was a complete flop.
Yeah.
And it looks like just a regular crossover.
Yeah.
And Ford, I mean, they stepped out of the box again and they made that retro style with the old Bronco and, you know, kept that classic look, that
Yep, the
nostalgic
iconic,
look.
yes,
So,
which
which is awesome.
One day it'd be cool to have like the first generation Bronco, like a restored one, super clean, and then a brand new one.
Yeah, yeah, it would be.
Driveway goals.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you go with for 2020?
Oh, so 2020, 2020 has been the year of manufacturers introducing several different off-road vehicles, off-road trucks, you know, the Bronco like we just talked about, but they also introduced, Jeep introduced the 2020 Gladiator. So 2020 Gladiator Rubicon pickup truck.
Which we saw, were you at SEMA 2019?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Oh.
Nope.
You walked in and the Gladiators were everywhere, because obviously this was right before they got introduced, end of 2019, ready for 2020,
Right.
and there were so many of them.
Yeah, the market just blew up as far as aftermarket builds, but they really didn't take off that well. So the price was pretty high for a Jeep pickup truck, and not a lot of people were buying them, but now the prices are starting to come down, being that it's already 2021. So Jeep Gladiator Rubicon was my first pick I picked it for the 2010s and above because it got introduced in 2019, and by the time 2020 came around, the Gladiator was everywhere. But
Well, and that's the thing, is we've only had 1 year of the 2020s so far, right? Like we've only had 2020 and 2021 has just started, so we've had a year and a month to know what is our favorite vehicle of this generation or this decade.
Right.
So there's not much out there, obviously, but
Yeah.
with what there is, if you guys think we missed a generation or a specific vehicle per decade or something like that, make sure to drop a comment below. I know we were kind of very Jeep heavy and very Ford heavy, give a little bit of Dodge and Chevy love, but if you guys have a favorite that you think we're completely missing, make sure to drop it below. Drop your ranking in the 70s to 20s if you want, and that's what we got for you. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.